Mr. Selfe, thank you very much for your time. The new role that you now occupy sounds self-explanatory, but to expand a little bit for us, what is it exactly that you'll be doing?
Well, our governments are very integral to our brand, and we became aware during the election that there were certain shortcomings in the way that our governments operated, that service delivery was not up to standard. So what the unit will be doing is seeking ways in which to support our governments, ways in which we can remove obstacles to delivery, and making sure that we can communicate the successes that our governments are achieving.
Coming out of the DA Federal Council at this weekend, or this past weekend, it's been suggested that your party wants to sort out its identity crisis. In your own words, does the DA have an identity crisis?
Well, I think it does not have an identity crisis, but it has not communicated what it stands for properly. And the review that the Federal Council set up is designed to clarify that and to communicate it with greater clarity.
There's also been suggestions that you want to diversify the racial profile of the party, in particular at higher structures. Talk to us about that, the reasons perhaps that could be linked to that. Why is this a concern for the party?
Well, we are already the most diverse party in South Africa. If you look at any of the measurements of that, but we can always do better. And what we want to do is we want to be able to represent all the people of South Africa in all their diversity, and that needs to happen through our membership, through our structures, through our public representatives, and through our leadership.
At the weekend, reports suggesting that the use of the phrase adapt or die were attributed to your leader, Mmusi Maimane. Were those indeed the words of Mmusi Maimane?
Yes, he did make a speech of that nature and very plainly set out that what we needed to do was to adapt to a new political environment, and we needed to get our act together.
What does that mean then in terms of your cooperation with parties like the EFF, for example, that continue to be donors of votes in the metros that you control? What does that strategy mean, adapt or die, in as far as your relationship with such parties are concerned?
Well, that conversation is ongoing. We have had a conversation with the EFF. They, as you know, would like to become full coalition partners. We are already in a coalition with several other parties. Yes. And we are already in coalition with a number of parties. We're trying to set up a meeting with those parties to discuss it. And that meeting will take place in the very near future.
Does the DA, Mr. Selfe, in your view, have a discipline problem, particularly when it comes to some senior party members? And I ask this question because I want to link it to your electoral support, which declined in this past election. Does your party have a problem when it comes to the issue of discipline?
Well, there's a fine line in any political party between the rights of individuals to express their view and the irresponsible sharing of those views, particularly by social media. And we've had to grapple with this problem, and we now have a brand and communication guide and a digital media policy. And yes, we will be implementing it with more vigor, particularly in terms of our public representatives.
Do you think that this ill-discipline issue may have contributed towards your electoral decline?
Well, certainly the perception of many voters was that the party was engaged in infighting. No party wants to talk to a party that's talking to itself. So what we need to do is we need to solve these issues, and rapidly, and then we need to talk to voters and allow voters to talk to us and allow us to serve them in the way that they're supposed to.
All right, James Selfe, I do thank you very much for your time.